mount type thing where they like, and once you kill it, then the fallen jumps off its mount and starts attacking you with his club or whatever. So basically, it's like a two-stage monster. Now, I wish there were more monsters like that in the game. You know, with the there could even be three-stage monsters. You know, where there's a war, like this is just an example. This wouldn't really fit in the game, but there's a war elephant where there's people on the war elephant who are shooting arrows, and then there's the driver of the war elephant. So you shoot the war elephant, it kind of falls down, and then you have to kill the driver, or the, you know, whatever you want to call him, and then the arrow people run away and you gotta go catch them, basically. So more things like that, you know. And I like these huge monsters. Like here, the sledge, what are they called? I don't know what they're called. They are just huge, and that makes you feel like a badass when you're this tiny, puny human, and you're just tearing down these tower-sized monsters. That feels cool. I mean, they can't really do it anymore since the game's complete, and they're going to add more, you know, animations and models and stuff. But I feel like that would have been really cool if there were more big, you know, several-stage monsters. That would have made the game a little more interesting, a little more dynamic, a little bit more, would have required a little bit more thinking every time you went into a fight, instead of just going in, you know, smashing some buttons and whomping some AoE skills on these little dudes, like I just did there. You know, have a variety of monsters. Like here, I'm just getting swarmed by these dragon, demon, oppressor things. That's a cool fight. I enjoyed that fight. Yeah. Now, there's people say in Diablo 3, endgame, endgame, endgame. I gotta say, I had a blast just leveling up my barbarian. It's fun to just level them up. You know, just cleaving through things, low level, you're just kind of face rolling anything anyways. You don't really worry about losing health, you don't worry about defensive stats. You just kind of have fun. But I do also enjoy the endgame on my level 60 wizard. That is fun, I must say, and the item hunt it can be fun if you're finding stuff, but if you're not, it really sucks. And that makes you want to go play a barbarian to, you know, through normal and nightmare maybe. But it could be fun if there were things like an endless dungeon. And, you know, I make games myself, they're not huge, they're nothing spiffy, they're no Diablo 3s or anything. But they're, you know, they're little 2D arena games, stuff like that. They have deep, you know, you can go, I'll just put a download link in the description and you can go download it. This endless dungeon system that people talk about. You know, Torchlight 1 had it. Diablo 1 had it, I think. I'm not sure if it was endless or not, but it was pretty good. The game was an endless dungeon, pretty much. Fate has it. You know, it's basically, and the player basically would go to Tristram or wherever, you know, you want to start the dungeon, and it would randomly, let's say you want to do Endless Tristram Cathedral. And in the quest selection screen, you would go into endless dungeon mode, and then you select your quest. You go into select, you know, where you have Act 1, Act 2, Act 3, Act 4, difficulty, and monster power. Well, after Act 4, before Act 1, you could have endless dungeon. And then under that, there'd be the sub-endless dungeons, which could be Tristram Cathedral, or, you know, the Hellfire, the Hell Rift, or the Silver Spire, or, you know, the Terminus, for example, the Shadow Realm. There could be a bunch of different things, a bunch of different areas, and basically since all the art is there, and the random generator's there, all they would have to do is just type in the number, type in infinity, or 99999, into the thing, and it would basically, it's not hard to code, is basically what I'm saying. It's not like it's a monster task to make this endless dungeon business. And you just say, endless dungeon, Tristram Cathedral, and once you died, and that was it. And, you know, there'd be, let's say, a boss. There would be an uber boss version of whoever in the game, you know, every 5 levels, let's say. And every 5 levels, 5 levels is a lot, because, you know, the Tristram Cathedral is 4 levels, and that takes about 20 minutes. So let's say 5 levels is about 30 minutes. So every 30 minutes or so, you know, every 5 levels in the dungeon, like 5 stories or, you know, whatever, you would get a boss, and basically the fighting against yourself. It's a competition against yourself to see how far you can get, and there could be a little high score. Actually, no, they don't have a high scoreboard for anything really. I mean, it could go on it could say like, you know how they have highest hardcore level is like 52 or something. Then you could have highest or you know, lowest dungeon level reached, you know, dungeon level 96, and you can go, wow, he spent so much time, and you know, you could resume your game, you could quit and resume your game, but once you died, that was it. So it'd be kind of like a mini hardcore thing, give you kind of a taste of the hardcore feeling of, oh no, I died, now I gotta start all over again. But you don't actually have to start all over again, you just gotta start that dungeon all over again. Just the farther you get, the more painful death becomes, you know? It gives that sense to players. It really puts the stake a lot higher, and from that comes higher rewards. You could have increased item quantity, increased magic find, you know, stuff like that. Kind of like the MP system. Also, I think a stat that would be really cool that they could add is item quantity. You know, they have magic find, they should also have item quantity. Just like, that'd be ridiculous. They could have a arena like mini endgame thing, where, you know, just waves of monsters come at you. You know, wave 1, 10 monsters come at you. Well, wow, you just own them. You know, you go through your waves, and every 10 waves there's a monster. Sorry, not a monster. There's like an uber boss. You gotta beat him. It's intense. And if you die, you die. That's it. Same thing as the endless dungeon. That's it. And then you gotta start over your whole waves at wave 1 if you want. They'll say, would you like to start at wave 1? No thanks. I'll just go back to the main screen and do some normal farming. Or you could do that again, and you know, you get to wave 52, and it's getting intense, and then you hit 55 or 60, and then there's that uber boss, and you're like, oh my god, it's Diablo plus Rakanoth plus Leoric, and you're going nuts, and you're about to shit your pants, and you own them. You don't know how you did it, you own them. It took a ton of skill, it took a ton of time, it took you 30 minutes to wipe on them, but you did it, and you didn't die, and at the end, you see a legendary drop, and you're like, oh my god, wait, no, is that a second legendary drop? What? No way. You could even have the Uber versions of Key Wardens. You know, it's all there. It's just numbers you need to plug into the game. These aren't tasks that take a lot of doing. It's basic stuff in terms of how much work it would take. That's what I'm trying to get at, is that this isn't that hard, Blizzard. You can do it. The community's, hell, you don't even need a creative section in your company anymore, because your community is fucking giving you the best ideas ever, and you just need to execute them. And it's not that much work, it's not that much money, it's not that hard to just execute these basic ideas. You could whip that up in less than a week if you really tried. Another thing that Path of Exile actually has is leagues that they could implement. Players miss the PvP. Yeah, I know Arena PvP is coming out soon, but they miss the hostile environment. That sense of impending doom, where you start a character fresh, and what this would also give you is a reason to reroll a character. It gives you a character fresh. You start a character fresh, and you go through normal, and let's say it's basically another game mode, I guess you could call it, where it's permanent. It's open world. Each game is automatically populated with a certain number of players. No matter what game you go into, you'll always be in a game with other people. And you'll just be playing the game normally, except other players can attack you. You'll be placed in a game with mostly players of your level, obviously, so you don't get owned by, level 60 when you're in the frickin' zombies of Tristram and normal. And you lose all your items on death. Death is death, and you start over again. Or, no, that's not cool. Just death is death, and you just lose all your items. And then you kind of have to go back and buy new items at the vendor, and generally they're pretty crappy. Or you can go craft new items with the new crafting system. Yes, see, all my ideas are intertwined. They all are connected to each other because this game is so deep and so connected. But it's just lacking that complexity that hardcore players want, that sense of being a god while still being at risk. That's what they want. Another thing, but I'm going to talk about this in another video, is the Monster Power reward system. That's going to be my next video. Thanks for watching, you guys. Love talking about D3. I could talk about it all day if you wanted to. I'm in between casual and hardcore. I studied the game a lot before the game came out. I watched I watched huge amount of hours of the BlizzCons and the pre-release videos and all that. I've been following since 2008. I'm not exactly a min-maxer, but I'm into the game a lot. I'm not just a casual player. Once again, I'm the Deucey. Thanks for watching. Please comment, rate, and subscribe. Thank you. Bye-bye.